Have you ever wondered why people with less talent, less effort, and even less experience are making more money than you? It has nothing to do with luck, and even less with hard work. The truth, and it might sting, is this: money doesn't respond to force, it responds to frequency. That means in 2025, those who stay stuck in scarcity thinking will fall behind, even if they hustle hard. But those who learn how to align their minds with the frequency of prosperity will start seeing doors open, opportunities appear, and money flow more naturally. And yes, all without needing a dream job, without becoming an influencer, and without selling empty promises. If you think this is just motivational fluff, you might still be trapped in the old model, the one that told you to work, pay bills, and hope for a raise. But if you're ready to understand the new game, the game of mental frequency and vibrational alignment, then stay with me. Because in the next few minutes, you'll learn what almost no one is telling you about money. It's funny how many people still believe that only the geniuses succeed in life. The truth is, that's nothing more than a widespread myth disguised as common sense. Bob Proctor made it clear time and again. Intelligence isn't what separates the successful from the stuck. It's applying the right mental principles. He started off mopping floors with no college degree, no big breaks, no signs he'd one day earn millions. And mind you, he wasn't surrounded by dummies either. It's like the world is full of sharp minds, but most keep the blade in the drawer. Having a Ferrari parked means nothing if you never learn to drive it. What really sets someone apart is how they use what they've got with consistency. It's not about memorizing formulas or solving equations in your head. It's about understanding the game and having the guts to play it. Think of people like Oprah, Steve Jobs, or even Proctor. All had one thing in common. They used their mind as a tool, not decoration. So, if anyone feels limited today, maybe the real block is how they view themselves. What really paralyzes us isn't a lack of ability, but too much comparison. Bob used to say, "I'm not smart. I just understood how it works." And that's the core of it. Success is a matter of understanding and applying. Which brings us right into another key point. Because if the brain isn't the limit, maybe it's actually the springboard. Most people never learn that the true difference between them and every other living creature is the set of mental faculties they carry, often unused. Proctor used to say we walk around with untapped superpowers: perception, imagination, will, memory, intuition, and reason. These aren't just pretty words in a textbook, they're literal tools. And once you start sharpening them, life bends in your favor. But the catch is, nobody's going to activate them for you. Take perception, for instance. Imagine you're stuck in traffic. You can either curse the world or put on an audiobook and turn it into a classroom on wheels. That's perception in action. Or imagination, the same faculty some use to expect the worst, could also be used to build the life of their dreams. It's not magic. It's not fantasy. It's deliberate thinking, directed like a laser beam. The same way a phone uses signal towers to communicate, your mental faculties connect you to possibility. Now, here's the real kicker. You don't need a special gene or elite schooling to use these faculties. You've had them all along. The tragedy is that most people let these abilities sit idle, waiting for life to change without changing themselves. Once you get how these faculties work and begin to use them daily, you step into a new dimension of power. And it all begins with a small shift in how you see a problem. One of the biggest secrets they never teach you in school is this: the problem isn't the problem. The problem is how you're looking at it. Bob Proctor learned this from Earl Nightingale and passed it on like a mantra. Change the angle, and everything changes. It's like staring at a sculpture from just one side. It may seem confusing, even ugly. But walk around it. see it from another perspective, and suddenly, it makes sense. That's how life works. Proctor suggested a simple and powerful practice. Write your problem on paper, put it on the table, and look at it. Then switch seats. Ask, how would Edison see this? How would Ford? How would someone who already solved it 1,000 times look at it? That symbolic exercise triggers a real mental shift. It's like switching lenses. And suddenly, you stop being the victim of the problem and become its strategist. The issue is the same, but who you are facing, it has changed. Shifting perception doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means expanding it. It's like unlocking a hidden switch in your mind that opens new doors. A tough relationship might be a burden, or an emotional intelligence workout. A picky client might be a headache, or a masterclass in refinement. Everything shifts when you ask, what other way of seeing this would give me more power? And right there, imagination starts making its move. Will is the spark that separates the curious from the committed. Bob Proctor said willpower is the ability to hold one idea on the screen of your mind to the exclusion of everything else. In a world packed with distractions, that ability is like pure gold. It's like a magnifying glass under sunlight. Scattered light does nothing, but focused light creates fire. That's what happens to your mental power when you strengthen your will. Want to train this? Try Proctor's classic exercise. Light a candle and stare at the flame, keeping your focus there. Simple? Yes. Easy? Not quite. In seconds, your mind will wander. Bring it back. Focus again. This is how strength is built. You're training your brain to obey, not to boss you around. With time, you gain control over your thoughts. And that changes everything: productivity, clarity, even your life energy. This focused energy lets you do in 1 hour what others take a full day to accomplish. Because you stop reacting impulsively and start acting with direction. Willpower isn't about wanting it bad enough. It's about holding your focus despite the noise. When mastered, it turns goals into results, dreams into projects, ideas into action. But here's the thing: energy without direction is just noise. And that's where memory comes in. Most people think they have a bad memory, when in truth, what they lack is practice. Bob Proctor used to say, there's no such thing as weak memory, only untrained memory. Think about it. You can remember lyrics from old songs, but forget where you left your keys yesterday. That proves memory works through repetition and emotional engagement. When used intentionally, your mind becomes a living, breathing archive. Want to develop your memory? Start small. Pick a powerful quote and say it out loud every day until you've memorized it. Then move on to short book passages, word lists, numbers. Use techniques like the memory palace or spaced repetition with apps like Anki. Training your memory not only expands mental power, it boosts confidence. Because remembering with clarity is one of the fastest ways to command presence. But the true power of repetition isn't just about recall. It's about shaping. Repeating an idea with intention installs it into the subconscious. That's how beliefs are formed. That's why repeating a new self-image daily rewires your identity. Repetition with emotion is reprogramming. And when that meets intuition, you start picking up signals that used to go unnoticed. Reason is the noblest of all mental faculties. And, ironically, one of the least used. Bob Proctor used to say that real thinking is rare. Most people simply react based on their senses. They see something, hear something, feel something, and respond on autopilot. But those who learn to use reason consciously begin steering their life like a captain at sea. No longer at the mercy of the wind, they choose the direction. Thinking clearly means asking better questions. Instead of, why does this always happen to me? The rational mind asks, what can I learn from this? Or what action can I take right now? This kind of thinking separates emotion from strategy. You begin analyzing patterns. anticipating outcomes, and making choices that align with your desired destination. It's like moving from the passenger seat to the driver's seat of your own life. Reason is also the bridge between feeling and action. It's what organizes intuitive insights and transforms them into concrete steps. When you combine intuition with reason, you create decisions with both soul and structure. You don't just feel like you should, you understand why and act with certainty. And when that certainty meets the subject of money, that's when the real transformation begins. There's a dangerous illusion that money comes from physical effort. Bob Proctor would firmly debunk that. Money doesn't respond to brute force. It responds to mental frequency. In other words, it's not about how much you sweat. It's about how you think. He went from deep debt to earning millions a year by changing his thoughts around prosperity. The mind creates the path. The body just follows through. Aligning with the frequency of money means realizing that wealth is first an internal state. It's like tuning a radio station. If you're on the wrong frequency, no matter how loud you turn it up, the right song won't play. Scarcity thinking pushes opportunity away. An abundant mindset, well cultivated, starts to attract the right ideas, the right people, and the right resources, almost like magic. But it's just alignment. Practice this. Write a clear affirmation about your new financial reality and repeat it daily with intention. Feel yourself already living it. Avoid phrases like, I want, and use I have, I am, I receive. The brain understands the present, not distant desire. When your mindset is in harmony with money, you stop chasing and start attracting. And at this level, we start talking about the kind of goals that truly change everything. Most people set goals based on what they already know how to do. Bob Proctor called these A-type goals: safe, predictable, and stagnant. Then there are B-type goals, slightly challenging but still within what we think we can do. But C-type goals? That's a different game. These are the ones that scare and excite you at the same time. You don't know how you'll reach them. You just know you must. A C-type goal pulls you out of your comfort zone and forces you to activate your mental faculties. You start imagining, planning, visualizing, feeling. It's like lighting a fire inside. These aren't realistic goals. They're growth goals. Want an example? It's not, I want a new car. It's, I want the financial freedom to choose any car, anytime, anywhere. That changes the question. And when the question changes, so does the answer. Proctor said these goals are the compass of transformation. They're not designed to be reached easily. They're meant to shape you. By setting a C-type goal, you ignite desire, focus, and vibration that align you with the reality you want to live. And when that frequency kicks in, you start moving with a kind of energy that transcends logic. And that's where Einstein comes in. And the real secret of creation begins. Albert Einstein said, "Everything is energy." And that's all there is to it. Bob Proctor took that truth and pushed it further. If you want a different reality, you must tune your frequency to match it. It may sound abstract, but it's as practical as changing a radio station. There's no use wishing for a life of freedom while vibrating fear, scarcity, and doubt. The universe doesn't respond to wishful thinking. It responds to vibration. Picture your desired reality as a song playing on a specific frequency. If you want to hear it, you must tune in. That tuning happens through thoughts, emotions, and actions aligned with what you want to experience. Ask yourself, how does someone who already lives what I want behave? And then start acting like that version of yourself, even if it feels like a stretch. That alignment creates a magnetic force. You start attracting ideas, people, and opportunities that live on that same frequency. It's not magic, it's physics. The challenge isn't dreaming big. It's sustaining the energy of the dream while your outer world hasn't changed yet. But when you manage to keep that frequency alive, everything starts moving in your favor. And at that vibration, the right mentor appears and shows you how your mind is the key to making the impossible real. One of the greatest accelerators of growth is being close to someone already living on the frequency you want to reach. Bob Proctor spoke with deep gratitude for the mentors who changed his life: Earl Nightingale, Leland Val Van de Waal, Ray Stanford. These weren't just teachers. They were awakeners of consciousness. A true mentor doesn't hand you every answer. They help you ask better questions. They stretch your vision and strengthen your mindset. You can find mentors in books, videos, courses, or, ideally, through direct interaction. But the truth is, when your mind is open, the right teachings will always find you. It's not about idolizing anyone, but about alignment. The mentor lives the principles. They embody the frequency. And just being in their presence can shift how you think, because your mind is shaped by your environment. And a mentor's environment is already a growth incubator. But without the right mindset, not even the greatest mentor can help. It's not about what they know. It's about what you're willing to apply. Your mindset is the filter that turns information into transformation. And when that mindset is sharpened by someone who lives the universal laws, everything begins to align. And that's when it becomes clear. If you really want change, you'll need to shift something even deeper: your paradigm. You can't build a new life with an old mental program running in the background. Bob Proctor explained that what truly shapes your results isn't what you want. It's your paradigm. A paradigm is a system of beliefs and habits installed in your mind since before birth. It silently controls how you think, feel, and act, even when you believe you're making free decisions. If you don't shift it, you'll always cycle back to where you started. Changing a paradigm is like rewriting the operating system of your mind. And it requires two things: decision and repetition. When you decide to change, the old system resists. It screams, sabotages, confuses. It's like moving to a new city. Your body may be there, but your mind keeps trying to return to the old address. That's why you must apply new ideas consistently until they overpower the old ones. And that only happens through conscious practice. A great place to start shifting is by noticing your triggers. What always pulls you back into old behaviors? What limiting phrases do you repeat to yourself? Write them down, question them, rewrite them. Repetition with emotion rewires the mind. And when your new paradigm starts to settle, you realize that most of your limitations were never real. They were just echoes of your outdated self. That's when a new identity begins to emerge. More aligned, freer, and elevated. One of Bob Proctor's most powerful statements was, "You are not who you think you are. You are who you decide to become." That truth lifts a massive weight off your shoulders. Most people define themselves by past mistakes, failures, and the stories told to them since childhood. But none of that defines who you are. It only tells where you've been. Who you really are is an ongoing choice, a conscious creation. Look at anyone you admire. At one point, they too were lost, stuck, and limited by a version of life that didn't match their potential. What changed? Their inner identity. Proctor would say, "You can reject the old paradigm at any time. Just decide." That decision isn't magic. It's practice. It begins when you stop repeating, "This is just who I am," and start saying, "I'm becoming." That simple word swap shifts your vibration. And vibration changes everything. You don't need perfect conditions to start acting like your highest self. Start now. Speak the way they would. Walk how they would. Make decisions they would make. Because the more you embody that version, the more real it becomes. And the more real it becomes, the more the world reflects it back. But to keep this new identity alive, you'll need to re-examine your environment, your habits, and, most importantly, your self-image. Now tell me, knowing all this. What are you going to do with it? Will you keep treating money like something distant, scarce, and hard to get? Or will you finally take control and tune your mind to the frequency that actually attracts prosperity? Remember, what stands between you and the life you want isn't time, or bills, or your boss. It's your current vibration. And that's something you can change, starting today. So, drop a comment below. What new mental standard are you choosing to activate from now on? And if this content made sense to you, challenged you, or sparked something inside you, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and get ready, because what comes next is even more powerful.